Hello, everyone. Welcome to Toast Time, and thank you for joining me for the final episode of 52 Breads in 52 Weeks. If there is something you would want me to record, please let me know, reach out, and I'll be happy to record the recipe for you. But this is our last one, and for this, I'm going to be making Shaobing, which is a Chinese sesame flatbread that's kind of layered. It really doesn't take as long as you would think. There are quite a few steps, but let's just get started. All right, I have some flour in here, and I'm going to add salt and sugar. All right, and use chopsticks to mix it up. Okay, I'm adding hot water. Just a little bit of hot water here. And this is going to get mixed together until it's lumpy. Which we have reached that here. All right, let's see, bring it up. So we have some lumps. Okay, then we add in the yeast and cold water now because we have the yeast in there. And a tablespoon of oil. And again, mixing this together. It will be sticky. And this is going to sit for about 20 to 30 minutes. And it will kind of absorb more of the moisture into the flour. Oh no. Oh, what a bummer. Well, I guess I'm not doing the chopstick stirring anymore. It is getting thick, so I should have probably stopped. Well, make sure, yeah, we're safe. Okay, so I'm going to continue with my hand, which would be the next step anyway. And making it into a dough. All right, it is mixed together. And I'm doing the wet dough kneading a little bit while I'm using it in the bowl here. And I'm just picking it up, slapping it down, pulling it, and then rolling it over itself. Picking it up, rotating 90 degrees. Now we're going to let this sit 20 to 30 just to rest the gluten, even though we haven't worked it too much, but it's going to make it much easier to roll out. All right, I'm going to wash my hands and then we'll come back and make the oil paste for the inside. Washed my hands, I tidied up a bit, and now we get to make the paste, which is going to be some oil. I'm going to heat up. And cake flour. This is kind of like making a roux and just adding a fat and the flour together. It's going to thicken. I'm going to let it cook a little bit so we get a little bit of a nice smell from it. And then it just cools. The other things that I have here are sesame seeds. This is going to go on once we do all of our shaping and rolling, and it goes on right before we put them in the oven. Let's have them on a little plate right here. That way I can just kind of dunk it and put it on the baking sheet. Okay, the oil is heated up and I have my cake flour here. Going to dump it all in and mix. Here's how it looks so far. It's still clumpy. smoothed out now, and I'm just letting it thicken up a bit more. I'm just still stirring this. I want it to darken a little bit in color and get that nice smell to it. And it's almost there. Okay, now we have some color to it. It's not just bright white anymore. And I'm going to put it into this bowl here so it can cool off. And now it's smelling kind of nutty. It actually is. It's nice. Okay, I'm gonna put this in the sink so that it doesn't dry with all of that on it. And set the oven to 425 while the dough finishes resting. All right, the next step is to lightly flour the board. Add a little bit more and bring the dough out onto it. So it's still really soft, but it's not quite as sticky as it was, which is nice. Let's get this out on here. And we're going to roll it out. Okay, some flour on my hands. There we go. Flip it over a couple times. Get some good flour on here. Okay, now rolling out, start in the middle. Roll out, roll out. And I'm going to flip it over. Make sure it's covered in flour. And we want 10 by 16 with this. And I keep flipping it over so I'm sure it's not sticking and that we're getting a good amount of flour. I don't want to over flour it, but I also don't want it to be sticking to everything as we're doing this. Okay. All right. The oven should be preheated soon. We're at 9 and 13. Now, it doesn't specify which way to put this. I'm going to go ahead and flip this so the short side is towards me. Okay. Now we're going to take this. It's cooled down. It's still slightly warm, but it's fine. I'm going to make sure to keep a 1/2 inch at the top bare. I don't want to put anything on this 1/2 inch here. I'm going to just make little marks. Fingers so I don't accidentally spread it too far. Okay. And you can see how much the color had changed. We put it in that pan and we let it cook. Okay. Spreading it out. I'm just doing this with a spoon. You can do it with your hands, or you can also do it with a spatula. I just already had the spoon dirty, so I'm going with it. And this is going all the way down to the bottom. I don't want to leave too much empty at the top, but I want it to be able to close. Okay, now to the sides. All right, now we're going to roll it up. Once I get started, it'll be a lot easier. And just trying not to get my hands all yucky. Okay, I'm gonna grab a bench scraper because I'm gonna need it for the next part anyway. This will help me roll it up. I'm gonna grab some of the flour that I put in the corner and move it down. And then I'm going to bring this up and over and kind of pinch it so it seals. Great. I'm going to pinch the ends here a little bit. Now we're going to divide this into 6 pieces. I'm going to get a rough center on it. Do that. And then thirds. Next, we're going to take the 2 cut sides of this and bring them up to the middle. Kind of pinch it together a bit. All right. It's not going to stay completely, but we're trying to lessen, I guess, the amount of stuff that escapes. I'm going to get some more flour. That, and I'll do that to have it stand by. Okay. Flatten it out, and we bring the 2 ends to the center. And I'm going to set it down this way. That one was a lot better. Okay. And set it down like that. Just for now. Okay. Bring this here. Press it out. And bring these. So I may have actually wanted to keep it with the longer side toward me, because this would have given me more length to work with. Did not think that through. Okay. Right, I'm going to clean up this space here. Get ready for the next step. All right, the next part, I'm going to get more flour. Put it on here. We're going to roll these out again. Okay. Take this first one here. And now I'm going to make sure where I pinch the middles together, I'm going to make sure that's up. I want that up for this part. All right, I'm going to roll this out into an ovalish shape. I'm going to fold the top and then the bottom. Right, and I'm going to set it aside, let it rest for a few minutes. Again, making sure that pinched side is up. And I'm always going from the middle out to the edges. There we go. Okay. Getting better. Top third down, bottom third up. And brush off excess flour and let it sit. They're looking much prettier already. I'm going to finish these ones up. Let them rest for a few minutes, maybe 3 or 4 minutes, and then start over and do the whole thing again of rolling it into the oval, and then top third down, bottom third up, and then we'll move on to the next step. All right, we are now at the home stretch. These have been resting after I did 2 of those turns with them. And I'm going to take my sesame seeds and flatten this out a little bit and put that smooth side in the seeds. There you go. All right, and I'm going to keep on doing that. All of these have the sesame seeds. Then we're going to roll them out, and that'll press the sesame seeds into it and give us the size and shape that we want. I also have a baking sheet here prepped. And we'll bake, and that'll be it. Now, if these aren't sticking very well, you could spray them with a tiny bit of water and it'll make it stick, and then you'll be able to roll it in or roll it out and press them in when you do it. Just in case it's was a little bit too much flour or something like that. But we're looking good here. And get rid of these sesame seeds and clean off the board of any excess. Now we're going to roll these out, and what we're looking for is about 3-inch by 6-inch rectangle. All right, starting in the middle. Yep, and that pressed them right in. I'm actually going to start at this side because they didn't quite adhere evenly with the sesame seeds, but that's okay. Middle. All right, let's see. We are at 2 3/4 and 5 1/2. A little bit more. Okay, I'm going to take this and put it right here above where I'm rolling. That way I won't have to keep bringing the ruler over. Just have my measurement there. This is really cool, watching it push in the sesame seeds. This one I'm going to put directly onto the baking sheet because I don't need to put them all on the board again. All right. Essentially what we've done is taken that oil paste with the flour and created layers and created sort of a lamination as we would do with croissants or puff pastry, things like that. And so we should, when this bakes, hopefully, have a lot of nice layers inside. Oven's been preheated for about 15 minutes, which means that my stone in there is nice and hot. And be good to go. Last one. The last bread of toast time right here. Okay. These are going to go in for about 12 minutes. We want it to be nice and brown. And I'm going to clean up while these are baking, get everything put away so we can enjoy our taste test. All right, these went the 12 minutes. They started browning really nicely, and I was taking them out as the timer went off. The sesame seeds stuck very well, and we have a nice golden brown. Most of them puffed up. 2 of them did not. They stayed a little bit more flat, but that's okay. I think it's still going to be good. It just won't be as many layers inside. Let's give it a try. They're still pretty hot. Wow. See that just collapse? That's all air inside of there. All right. Yeah, so here are the layers. And it's still steaming. See? Cheers. It's pretty plain. I thought the sesame seeds would give it more nuttiness. Once they start incorporating as you're chewing, it's very nice. The initial bite is kind of meh. Texture, let me see. This one has a little bit better texture inside, a little bit better on the flakes. And again, I'm still cutting them when they're hot. So maybe once I let them cool completely, it'll be a different story. If I'm doing the sesame seeds, I might add some sugar into the dough because that would There was sugar. I might add more sugar into the dough because there are two versions of this. There's the sweet with the sesame seeds, and then there's the more savory, and you put spiced meats and things like that in it. Um, yeah, I mean, this is good. I would probably play with the recipe a bit and make it more my own, but I'm really glad I did it and learned another technique of creating layers. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me on this adventure of toast time. I hope you had fun. I sure learned a lot and enjoyed it. And again, if there's any recipe that you want me to try, please send it my way and I'll be happy to film it and put it up. And Happy New Year, and thanks again.